What up? What up? Sandhu and Sheen in the house. Sheen and Sandhu, S&S, back for a recap of NFL Week 18 Sunday. I'm Pratty Sandhu, of course, joined by my co-host, Jeremiah Sheen. What's cracking, Jer?
Man, it was the day of the dogs today. Take the points.
Was it ever?
Watch the money roll in. Unfortunately, two of mine were not dogs. And I should have listened to myself. I'm sure if you go back in all the videos for the year, you will hear me talking about divisional games are always close. So both of those spreads that I lost on today were, and an outright loss, were just gigantic and probably just ill-advised. But yeah.
Right. I mean, it's Week 18. The narrative is that some of these games are unimportant, and to the players, as I was listening to Ross Tucker on the broadcast, he said all the guys between the white lines, it matters, right? Guys playing for incentives like Geno Smith and Mike Evans, So I mean, they're playing for the playoffs as well, but I don't know. It's almost like week one, right? You don't know what's going to happen week 18. I think those 2 weeks are the most unpredictable weeks as to what should happen and what's going to happen. But let's kick it off with the Saints putting up a valiant fight against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers take it in a shootout. They were down, I believe, 10 at half, and I looked at the spread for second half. Tampa was favored by 12.5. And then I was like, okay, there's no money line for it, right? So that tells you that they're going to come back, and they did. I did have the Saints plus 15.5 prior to the game. I just saw the number and said, these bums can't lose by over 2 touchdowns. And Spencer Rattler was actually looking like an NFL QB. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's just Prater. Right? I don't know what your thoughts are on this game, Jer.
Yeah, no, I was very surprised. Again, divisional game, but the Saints really showed me something. And then, yeah, I think it was kind of the situation for Tampa being at home, kind of going in at the half, saying, okay, we can't let our fans down here. Maybe scoreboard watching a little bit to the bomb that went off in Atlanta. Still, unbelievable finish there. I guess in the end, Tampa won, so it didn't matter what Atlanta did. But yeah, Tampa's going in pretty hot, and that might be a rematch. Washington earlier this season when Washington seemed unbeatable, but they lost to Tampa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed to do pretty good against the East.
I think the line's 2.5 for Tampa Bay right now, just offhand. But Tampa Bay, they had to do. Mike Evans tied Jerry Rice for 11,000 yard receiving years. Some other record he set as well too. But move along to the Buffalo Bills. Went into New England Patriots, and this Joe Milton guy, the third, came out of nowhere and was gunslinging. It was 11 of 11, and he may have got Gerard Mayo fired because right after the game they fired Mayo and just said this isn't working. Obviously, they lost the first overall pick, and Buffalo just probably didn't want to get hurt in this game. You know what I mean? Didn't really mean anything. Allen got his start. He left the game right after that. And Patriots kind of stumble on their feet. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, players turn coaches don't always work. I know a lot of current coaches are former players, but yeah, some of them just don't work out. It doesn't just translate. Some of them just do it and they don't know how to teach. And that seemed to be the problem in New England, but I'm sure someone's going to want to take over that young program, and I'm sure they're going to have a nice, juicy pick here in the 2025 draft in Green Bay. So their future is going to be looking up, I'd like to say.
Yeah. I mean, it just seemed like the beginning of the year, Gerard Mayo was not knowing who to start at QB. He's saying that, the rookie is better, but he started our guy Jacoby there. And it's just been a lot of just up and down, not much continuity, I thought. And obviously offensively, the weapons were just atrocious. So the defense wasn't great. So what do you expect, right? Just a tough year. I believe they have the third pick. Cleveland has number 2.
Yeah, that's too bad they didn't lose this one. They would have had the first pick. Depending. The Titans seem to be in a quarterback conundrum. Do they take the top quarterback in the draft with the first pick? Do they take Travis Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you give up Travis
Well,
Hunter.
they could trade down too. They could maybe trade their pick for like someone else's top 5 pick and then a first next year type thing, like kind of the Bryce Young, Caleb Williams thing. But moving along. The Bears, they break their 10-game losing streak. And Packers, I believe Jordan Love left the game. They showed him warming up, said he could have come back in. Packers, I believe if they had won this game, they would be the number 6, but they'll be facing the Eagles. And I believe that spread is -4. What are your thoughts on this wild game?
Yeah, Chicago is due. Obviously, when you lose that many games in a row, you're going to win one, especially when it's in the division. Mm-hmm. Again, Chicago played the division pretty tough. They lost all of them, but they did play pretty tough. And, when you get another chance at a team, revenge, a lot of the times it gets through. So, yeah, and then that on top of Green Bay, knowing they're in the playoffs, didn't want to really necessarily go into Philly and face that defense, Saquon Barkley. But again, another revenge angle. The game in Brazil, Green Bay played valiantly. Probably should have won that game. Didn't. Eagles with early season problems corrected it and won a bunch in a row. So.
Yeah, I would probably lean Packers plus the points. I don't know if they'll win the game, but 4 points is nice to have in the back pocket. Okay, Jaguars, Colts. This one went to overtime. Colts take it. Pretty straightforward game. I think Jaguars just improved their draft position. Indy wins a game to kind of save face after losing the Giants. What were your thoughts on this meaningless, kind of boring game?
Yeah, very snory for sure. Jacksonville, I guess they cemented a nicer pick, and they need players. So, and the Colts, I'm sure they'll get a good pick too. They got to figure out, maybe they'll even get another quarterback. Richardson maybe for a backup. Flacco go home again and see. Maybe keep all 3 in camp, see who comes out. But
it'll be interesting. Right, but I mean, Richardson, this guy hasn't barely even played, right? He's still kind of on his rookie year, right? Like he hasn't played a complete year. He always gets banged up, gets benched or whatever the hell, taps out. So it's been a rocky season for the Colts. I mean, they kind of had playoff hopes, a couple weeks ago, and just didn't get it done, obviously. Jacksonville will look to get Trevor Lawrence back next year and maybe bounce back. Totally disaster year for them. Moving along to another overtime game, Panthers-Falcons. Panthers take it in overtime. Bryce Young looked pretty decent, actually. And, Falcons defense kind of wasn't the greatest, I thought, but Penix looked good out there, I thought. I don't know what you thought about this matchup.
Well, I guess they played each other. They know each other. But the Falcons really let everybody down. I know it didn't matter in the end because Tampa Bay won, but they needed this win. And if anything, I thought their defense would put up a little fight for them. You think if you score that many points, you'd come out, but no, that is embarrassing. And we'll go back to the drawing board. Hopefully, again, they get a good pick, something to build on. And
what do you do with Cousins? What do you do with them? Do you keep them? Do you cut them? Do you trade them?
Cut them.
I say try to move him to the Niners. I think Kyle Shanahan worked with him in Washington. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But Carolina should get another decent draft pick. Another 12-plus loss season for them. Obviously, they need some help with the wide receivers. You can't rely on Adam Thielen and these big bow guys and shit like that. Falcons, I think they have enough on offense. Let Penix have a full year. I think their season was kind of lost in that Washington game, Week 17. It went to overtime. Some bad clock management by Raheem Morris. He didn't call his timeout, yada, yada. But, that kind of took the wind out of their sails. And then this game kind of just went downhill. Commanders take it over the Cowboys. Commanders had your guy Marcus Mariota out there slinging it on a last-minute touchdown. So I don't know what kind of playoff implications it was again, but Cowboys had what's his name at QB? I can't think of his name. The boss from SF, but he looked okay for a minute. And Washington, I think 13-win season this year, 12-win season, pretty impressive, right? And they'll be like 2.5 3-point dogs in Tampa next week. Pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, won their way in to a revenge game, and like we say over and over, don't underestimate the power of a revenge game. A second chance to get back at a team that beat you when the Washington Commanders were on a roll. Like they couldn't lose, and so like I said earlier, it just seems like Tampa Bay is great against the NFC East. They seemed to in the playoffs and everything. They beat up on the Eagles a few times. We can't seem to get our event.
They killed the Giants. You're right. That's a good point. They did take care of the NFC. Besides Dallas, that one fluke game Dallas had, and besides that, they've been pretty dominant on the NFC East. But also another note for this game: Jaden Daniels made the Pro Bowl over Baker. I thought Baker had the better statistical year, but Jaden Daniels pretty electrifying, I guess, just highlight-wise. So maybe Baker has a little edge for that game, saying, "Hey, you prick, you took me out of the Pro Bowl." Okay, Texans, Titans. I don't know how or why in the world, but Titans were actually favored at tip-off, -2.5 this game. Texans beat up on the lowly Titans. Titans do secure the number 1 pick, so they might have your guy Shador coming into town. Travis Hunter, I don't know. They need a lot on offense. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to keep the coach. Houston obviously is moving on to the playoffs, but as we've been saying, Houston's probably the weakest team in the playoffs, and they'll be hosting the Chargers. What were your thoughts on this one?
At least Houston, gathered some kind of momentum and beat the worst team in the league before they scurry on into the playoff home battle. I guess you can never underestimate a home dog. There'll be the pre-game speech in the locker room. Oh, this is our house. They come in. They think they're favorites in our house, and that's fine and everything.
They did.
Defense is going to dictate whether they win this game or not. If they hold the Chargers to under 20 points, I think I can see Houston putting up 21 and winning. But other than that,
it'd be interesting to see because they did win last year in the first round. against Cleveland when Cleveland was pretty hyped. But let's move along. Giants, Eagles, Tanner McKee. This guy looked good out there. Strong armed, was mobile. I'm thinking this guy should be the backup next year. What are you thinking? Get rid of small hands?
If Hurts doesn't play in this playoff game, I want Tanner. I don't want that other guy. I won't even say his name.
Pickett?
Yeah. He came in and threw a couple of good passes, but overall, he just looked terrible. I think Tanner can probably do less than Pickett, but he's smarter and just seems calmer and just willing to manage the game more. Pickett scares me.
Could he be this year's Nick Foles? Nick Foles was a 6'3" quarterback, tall guy himself. Yeah. Right.
It's
okay. So let's take a look at the Dolphins and Jets. Jets win it. 12-loss season for the Jets. Miami's pretty much had no chance when Denver started blowing out Kansas City. But obviously a disappointing year for both teams. But considering Tua was hurt for Miami, I thought it was a valiant second half for Miami. Took advantage of an easy schedule. And Jets had a lot of turmoil. I don't see Rodgers back there next year. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think Aaron Rodgers plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year.
I really do see him playing first. I think with this so much need at the quarterback position, I do see Carolina, who knows, someone taking a flyer on him.
He's going to want to win now, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to want to play on a shitty team. He'll probably want to win now, right? So that's why he's thinking Steelers, they have the defense. Get rid of Russ. I think Fields is only on a 1-year contract. And bring in Aaron. You probably don't have to pay much. You don't have to give up much in draft equity. I'm just throwing it out there. I could see it as a match possibility working because he'd have structure. He wouldn't be able to be, kind of just taking his ayahuasca trips and Egypt trips. I think Tomlin would get him in order, but that's just a little bold prediction from my side. Okay, Chiefs and Denver Broncos. Your guy Bo Nix was slinging the rock. Very impressive. I believe it was 31-0 at one point. Carson Wentz didn't exactly show much, but yeah, this game was over early. Your thoughts on the Denver Broncos going to be facing the Buffalo Bills?
This game, the backup crew there, you couldn't really expect much out of Kansas City, even though Carson Wentz was beaking off this game meant something to him. He didn't really have the weapons around him. And Denver going into Buffalo, I don't see it happening. I think it'll be closer than a lot of people think, but I'm thinking Buffalo still puts up a decent amount of points, 28, and Denver, I don't think they can muster more than 20. Buffalo's defense is going to finally clamp down and keep a team to 20 or under. So I see that one keeping up.
Yeah, it's got one of the higher over-unders, 47 for the week. But that'll be interesting to see what happens. Some of these lines are all over the place. I don't know exactly. But I believe Buffalo is favored by 8 over Denver. That'll be the early game on Saturday. Then we'll have Steelers and Baltimore at 1:30 on Saturday Pacific. And Baltimore's minus 9.5 in that one. Kind of got to lean Steelers, but I don't know. If I can get 10, I'll be more appealed. And then, Chargers are laying 3, 2.5 for the Saturday finale game at the Texans. And then it will be our Eagles on Sunday, laying 4, 4.5 to Green Bay. And then it will be Tampa Bay and Washington. And then I guess Rams and the loser of Minnesota, Detroit on Monday night. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, wild card weekend coming up. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Okay, Chargers, Raiders. Chargers take care of business here. I think Brock Bowers just added to his incredible rookie year for any position. He had the most receptions as a rookie, and the Chargers, I guess, get the privilege of facing Houston. Avoid Baltimore. Any other thoughts for you on this one?
Looks good for the Chargers. Just get get right hype up, kind of a swing in momentum, score lots of points, kind of a little swagger going into Houston. We can score 30 something. Can you? Kind of, So I like it. I like the Chargers to upset Houston. If Houston, like I said, if they can, the defense can put up, then maybe I see it. But I still like the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. Seahawks and Rams. Seahawks take it. Rams almost caught up in the end. I believe if the Rams won, they would have been the 3 seed, and they would have avoided the loser of Detroit, Minnesota. But Seahawks got all their Seahawks got all their bonuses for Geno there. Geno Smith got his I think it was like $4 million in bonuses. So good for him. Seahawks valiant effort, but they come up short of the playoffs. Kind of a team stuck in the middle. They're not like a bottom dweller, but they're not a contender. So we'll see if they can work some magic in the draft. They got Jackson Smith and Jigba last year. That worked out pretty good. I could see them moving on from DK Metcalf, though. He's been a bit of a head case this year. You know what I mean? A lot of penalties, a lot of just inconsistent play. So
heavy cap.
I do like what they have. Yeah, yeah, I do like what they have in the backfield. But let's move along. 49ers, Cardinals. Cardinals take care of this one against the 49ers. 49ers, I guess, get a better draft position. Cardinals kind of finish the season with a couple of victories and I believe some incentives for a few players. But any thoughts on this one for you?
Oh, the past or not, he had his audition for next year. Take me for your backup. I don't know how he did. I put up some points there.
Put up some decent stats.
Arizona wanted to put on a show for their home fans. Can Arizona get it together? I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I agree. I was just looking at a teaser possibility, teasing Buffalo from -8 down to -2, and then teasing the Commanders up from 2.5 to 8.5. I don't know why that just popped into my head, but that pretty much does it for our Sunday recap of a wild Week 18. We'll be back for the Vikings and Lions Sunday night football. It's going to be a wild one. I think the over-under is around 60 points, so we're looking at like a 35-30 type game. So it's going to be hype. Can't wait. I've been waiting for this game probably since last Sunday. And so that pretty much does it. We're here on S&S Pigskin Picks. Jared and I will catch you guys next time on S&S. Peace out.
Peace.